Picture this, a single empire dominating the trade routes that linked Europe and Asia, unleashing armies so formidable they made European kings tremble, and ruling over vast lands that stretched across 3 massive continents. For 6 centuries, the Ottoman Empire reigned as the unrivaled heavyweight champion of the world. But here's what's truly astonishing. They began as nothing more than a humble nomadic tribe with nothing but ambition and grit. So how did they engineer one of the most jaw-dropping transformations in history? And just as importantly, how did such a colossal empire eventually collapse into ruin? Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the most gripping sagas ever told, the explosive rise and dramatic fall of the Ottomans. Let's rewind to the late 1200s. Picture the Byzantine Empire, once mighty Rome's eastern successor, now a shadow of its former glory. Into this power vacuum stepped a man named Osman, leading a small band of Turkish warriors. These weren't sophisticated city dwellers or wealthy merchants. They were tough, battle-hardened nomads who had migrated from Central Asia, looking for new opportunities in Anatolia. What made Osman brilliant wasn't just his military skill, it was his strategic thinking. He positioned his tribe right on the frontier between the Islamic and Christian worlds, perfectly placed to take advantage of the chaos around them. While other powers fought among themselves, Osman quietly built alliances, recruited warriors from different backgrounds, and expanded his territory piece by piece. The real game changer came when his descendants captured Bursa in the early 1300s. This wasn't just another victory, it was their first major city, giving them a proper base of operations and legitimacy as a rising power. But they were just getting started. Fast forward to 1453, and we witness one of history's most shocking moments. Mehmed II, barely 21 years old, achieved what seemed impossible. He conquered Constantinople, the legendary city that had stood unconquered for over 1,000 years. The Byzantines thought their massive walls made them invincible. Mehmed proved them wrong with innovative cannon technology and brilliant tactical planning. This conquest sent shockwaves across Europe and marked the true beginning of Ottoman superpower status. Suddenly, they controlled the crucial gateway between Europe and Asia, giving them enormous leverage over global trade. But here's what really set the Ottomans apart: their military innovation. They created the Janissaries, an elite fighting force recruited through a unique system. These weren't just any soldiers. They were highly trained, disciplined, and absolutely loyal to the Sultan. They combined traditional Islamic military tactics with cutting-edge European technology, making them nearly unstoppable on the battlefield. The Ottomans also mastered something many empires struggled with: governing diverse populations. Instead of forcing everyone to become Turkish or Muslim, they developed systems that allowed different communities to maintain their own traditions while remaining loyal to the empire. This flexibility became one of their greatest strengths. Under Suleiman the Magnificent in the 1500s, the Ottoman Empire reached heights that seemed almost mythical. Picture an empire stretching from the gates of Vienna in the north to Yemen in the south, from Algeria in the west to the borders of Persia in the east. Suleiman wasn't called magnificent for nothing. He was simultaneously a brilliant military commander, a patron of arts and architecture, and a legal reformer whose code influenced Ottoman law for centuries. During this golden age, Ottoman cities became centers of learning and culture. The Süleymaniye Mosque in Istanbul wasn't just a place of worship. It was an architectural masterpiece that proclaimed Ottoman power and sophistication to the world. Trade flourished, arts thrived, and the empire's multicultural society produced innovations in everything from medicine to engineering. The millet system allowed different religious communities to govern themselves internally while remaining part of the larger Ottoman framework. Jews fleeing persecution in Europe found refuge and opportunity in Ottoman lands. Christians maintained their churches and traditions. This tolerance wasn't just moral, it was practical, keeping diverse populations content and productive. But even the mightiest empires have cracks that eventually become chasms. By the 1600s, several problems began threatening Ottoman dominance. The discovery of sea routes to Asia meant European powers could bypass Ottoman-controlled land routes, reducing the empire's crucial trade revenues. Succession became a nightmare. Instead of clear rules about who would become the next sultan, brothers often fought bloody civil wars for the throne. These conflicts weakened central authority and created opportunities for regional governors to become essentially independent rulers. The once invincible Janissaries became corrupt and resistant to military modernization. While European armies adopted new technologies and tactics, the Janissaries clung to outdated methods, making them increasingly ineffective against modern opponents. Economic troubles multiplied as European powers gained control of profitable trade routes. Inflation, caused by American silver flooding global markets, hit the Ottoman economy hard. Meanwhile, corruption spread through the government as officials focused more on personal enrichment than effective administration. Perhaps most dangerously, nationalist movements began stirring among the empire's diverse populations. Greeks, Serbs, Bulgarians, and other groups started demanding independence, often with support from European powers, eager to weaken Ottoman influence. The 19th century brought disaster after disaster. The empire earned the unfortunate nickname, the sick man of Europe, as it lost territory and influence. The Crimean War, despite Ottoman victory, revealed just how dependent they had become on European allies. Then came World War I, the final catastrophe. The Ottomans made the fateful decision to ally with Germany, betting on the wrong side of history. When the Central Powers collapsed, the Ottoman Empire was carved up by the victorious allies like a turkey at Thanksgiving dinner. The Armenian genocide during the war remains one of history's darkest chapters, staining the empire's final years with unspeakable tragedy. Over 1 million Armenians perished in what many historians recognize as systematic extermination. But from the ashes of defeat emerged something remarkable. Mustafa Kemal, later known as Ataturk, led a war of independence that defied all expectations. Against overwhelming odds, he drove out occupying forces and established modern Turkey on entirely new principles: secular, nationalist, and Western-oriented. The last sultan departed Istanbul in 1922, ending over 6 centuries of Ottoman rule. The caliphate was abolished in 1924, severing the final link to the empire's Islamic identity. Today, Ottoman influence echoes across 3 continents. From the Balkans to the Middle East to North Africa, architectural styles, legal concepts, and cultural traditions bear Ottoman fingerprints. Modern geopolitical conflicts often trace back to borders drawn after Ottoman collapse. The Ottoman story teaches us that no empire, no matter how powerful, is permanent, but it also shows how adaptability, tolerance, and strategic thinking can build something truly extraordinary that shapes the world for centuries.